Hey guys and gals, Ty Lord here with a discussion on 7 of the movies I watched this week. I'm going to dread going back to work after this disability, after open heart surgery, because I've been getting a lot of movies in, more than I ever did before. I should be playing some more video games, but I still don't quite have the nerves back in my hands. So I've mostly just been watching movies in my free time, or watching them at the gym. Actually, also I can watch them on the treadmill. Some of these I stream some of them on Tubi, but I have the physical copies because that's what I'm all about. So these are all action and fantasy movies, or action sci-fi. That's my genres lately. I can't get enough. Mostly 90s stuff, mostly action, sci-fi, a little bit of horror, martial arts. And speaking of martial arts, this one's a little bit newer than the 90s. I think it's early 2000s. The Ultimate Game. Really low budget movie, but has quite a lot of good martial arts action. And you could tell whoever made this was really influenced by the 90s, like underground mixed martial art tournament movies. Probably date all the way back to Enter the Dragon, that type of movie. A tournament with all the best fighters on an island. It looks more like it's a Santa Cruz beach where they filmed this, but who cares? Directed and produced by Jack Caprillion and Kevin Derrick. And it seems like they knew what they were making, kind of a tribute to those 90s and 80s, 70s mixed martial art tournament movies. And I think they did a good job with. It's obviously a low budget. Couple of recognizable faces I saw in here. That guy, this guy, I think his name's TJ Storm. You see him all the time in movies. He's like a martial artist. Really good in this with the martial arts. This guy, I've never seen him before, but he's really good, really handsome, buffed guy. J.D. Rifkin. He kind of looks like a manly, unweenie version of Kevin Pereira from G-Force Attack of the Show. But he's like a big buff dude, and he fights with that other guy, what's his name? Paul Logan. You see him on a lot of low-budget movies. He's like another big buff, handsome dude. There's pretty girls in this too. The tournament actually has a women fight too. One of them was like did all kinds of acrobatics and kicks and stuff. Not sure what her name was. And there was a really hot, voluptuous belly dancer girl on the good guys team of fighters that fought in this. So basically, it's about this martial arts master has a tournament, and at his little studio, and the top 4 guys that win the tournament or place the highest in the tournament get to go put together a team of martial artists to go meet at his island in a year or whatever it is, a few months, to fight for $1 million. Probably way more than the budget of this movie. But so it's about each team going around trying to collect their fighters, and there's a lot of each team, like the bad guy team's trying to sabotage the good guy team or take out fighters, or because they're trying to get all the best fighters to go to this island. So the kind of drags on a little bit at the beginning with all of the backstory of all the characters, but once it gets to the island, it's just solid blood sport type action, like tournament fights, bouts after bout. There's a little bit of plots, hijinks going on in the living quarters and stuff. The bad guy team, Paul Logan's on the bad guy team, and he's funded by this crooked mobster guy named Ivan. So they're trying to sabotage the other team and all that. So I thought it was a pretty fun, really low budget movie. Like this makes a Joel He movie look like Bloodsport or Enter the Dragon. Like it's so low budget, but it wasn't bad. I enjoyed it. I enjoy stuff like this. Okay, so on to been on an Olivier Gruner kick. I watched actually 3 of his movies. First one, TNT, with Olivier Gruner, Eric Roberts, Randy Travis, the country artist, and I saw Sam Jones in here, and Simon Rhee was in here too, from Best of the Best. This is a cool movie. Not really sci-fi, kind of more down to earth, kind of a high production value movie. Olivier is a member of a covert team of mercenaries that takes out drug lords or whatever. The company he runs, that he works for, is kind of crooked, and they make him kill a drug dealer, and his wife and kid are in the limousine, so it really messes him up, and he leaves the organization. He runs away and hides, and runs away to a small Colorado town and meets a lovely lady, a girlfriend there. I forget who plays her. So he goes and starts a new life in the small Colorado town. Randy Travis is the sheriff there. He's kind of a likable character. Of course, he gets in a bar fight and beats up what's his name, Kane Hodder, that played Jason. This is the same director, Robert Radler. I think it's the same director that did Best of the Best. So you saw Kane Hodder get beat up in the bar in that movie too. Anyway, but his old team of mercenaries, the main guy's a real jerk. Like, he plays a really good jerk. Like, you really want to see his face get beat in. And I'm not sure what that actor's name is. I haven't really seen him in that many things, but he's the leader of the group, and Sam Jones and Philip Rhee are in that group. Eric Roberts leads that he's the director of this organization. He's crooked, and he wants to send the team out to kill this guy in his little. And he has information on them too, like he has dirt on them. So they want to go find this guy. He's hidden. He's under a different alias. He's hiding out in this town. They've been looking for him for years, but they finally track him down. And they take his girlfriend hostage. They shoot the sheriff, terrorize the town, but he picks them off one by one. It's a pretty cool action suspense movie. Olivier Gruner's good in everything that I've seen him in. Actually, no, it was only 2 Olivier Gruner movies. I'm sorry, this one was Daniel Bernhardt. Olivier Gruner, Velocity Trap. I hadn't seen this one until now. This one's really good. A deep space thriller heist movie, like a heist hostage type movie. Really cool. Olivier Gruner, of course, he's a government agent as always, and he gets framed for a murder. So he gets set up. He's working in this mining colony, and it's run by this really crooked guy that's out to get him, and he sets him up to look bad, and he ends up getting this crappy job on a transport ship that's transporting like millions and millions of credits or whatever across the galaxy, like through hyperspace. Alice Coppola is the leading lady. She's pretty lovely in this. She's a pretty good actress in this. But she's one of the crew members of on this ship he's on. He's supposed to be security on the ship. They get to go into cryo sleep while the ship's transported for months and months and months. Well, this poor guy has to stay awake and entertain himself, and he's not supposed to touch any of the equipment. But anyway, during whatever it is, hyperspace, they're hijacked by another ship that's full of pirates. And it's led by this guy. He's pretty good in it. Is his name Ken Olant? He's the head pirate. He's pretty good in this. It has mechs in here very briefly, CGI mechs. But so he has an advent. So he has to wake up the crew, but he can only get the hot girl awake, of course. So they're on an adventure, trying to protect themselves, save the ship, and get out of the situation alive, get away from the pirates. This is directed by Philip Roth, and it's from the 90s, 96. So this is a fun, like space hijack, deep space adventure action movie. Very cool stuff with Olivier Gruner. Oh man. Speaking of low budget, this thing the Future Wars here might be even more low budget than the Ultimate Fight. And this has Daniel Bernhardt, so the guy from Bloodsport 2 through 4, and he's been in the Matrix movies. He plays one of the agents. This is directed by Anthony Dublin. It's very, very low budget. It's kind of a fun movie, like really low budget, like Manos Hands of Fate, low budget, probably on that level of filmmaking too. Whoever came up with this had quite an imagination, though. David Huey, I've seen a few of his movies, like Gary Daniels stuff, and I'm trying to find Hyperspace with Richard Norton. This one, it's a story by him, produced by him, directed by Anthony Dublin. But I like a few of the David Huey movies that with the Gary Daniels. So I thought this one would be really good, and it is quite a watch. The bad cyborg is Mr. Maniac Cop. What's that guy's name? Robert Zarr. The guy with a big jaw. He plays the cyborg hunting down. Oh man, Daniel Bernhardt plays a French alien from outer space, but a martial artist alien that's escaped from these cyborgs from space. I don't know if they're slaves, and the cyborgs have dinosaurs on leashes, like little T-Rexes or little velociraptors on leashes to track down these guys. The cyborgs are trying to hunt him down. He ends up on Earth, like in a ghetto on Earth, and he meets up with this nun that runs a mission, like to get to help homeless and people, and it's a pretty cute girl. She plays like a nun, and she's not really sure about her faith and all that. And this sign from God, this alien kind of establishes her faith. There's like philosophical stuff going on in here. The movie really tries, but it's really low budget. But they're trying to get away from these dinosaurs. It's always really low budget. You got to appreciate it, like forced perspective, like the dinosaur puppets right on the front of the screen. And oh no, or it's been chased by a truck, and you can see it's just like a dinosaur puppet in front of the camera, trying to eat the truck when they're getting away. Daniel Bernhardt does a lot of karate in this, which is kind of cool. Man, it's just super low budget. I think this is probably something that Mystery Science Theater has done a show on. Super low budget, but I don't know. I sort of enjoyed it. This, okay, I think it's all low budget from here on out. But these are pretty good production value. I had to see this one, Max Havoc, Ring of Fire. Oh no, pardon me. I'll start with the first one. Max Havoc, Curse of the Dragon. And it has this guy, Mickey Hart. He's the hero, Max Havoc. He's an ex-kickboxer turned photographer. So he's always going around taking photographs of cool things like motorsports or jet skiing or pretty women. He's kind of like a cool, he has an accent too, like the guy's from Luxembourg or something. He has like an accent, so all the ladies like him. So he's in the, what country is this set in? Guam. Yeah, so he's off on an assignment to take photos in Guam. Meanwhile, David Carradine has a group of ninjas called the Black Dragon or something, and they have a jade dragon made out of jade stone that's been stolen by another ninja, and it ends up in Guam at a hawk shop run by what's his name, Richard Roundtree from Shaft, who also happened to be Max Havoc's corner man when he was a kickboxer. Max Havoc killed someone in the ring, of course, so that messed him up mentally, so he never wanted to kickbox again, so he's a photographer now, yada yada yada. So David Carradine's group of ninjas, and this bald guy that looks like a worm, he doesn't have any eyebrows or anything, he's kind of a cool character in this. He's hunting down the Jade Dragon. There's a pretty girl too that's hunting it down. she's like does all kinds of martial arts. I forget the names of these actors. I just remember Richard Roundtree and David Carradine. Anyway, these two hot girls that he ends up meeting on the beach. They're these two pretty blonde girls. One of them, the big sister, like runs a museum of artifacts or whatever, and the little sister's going to school to be a brain surgeon, and she's like, I'm working my job to pay for your school, to go to pay for your brain surgery school. I have to work really hard for that, but it's worth it for me. I know you work hard for me, sister. I can't wait to be a brain surgeon. I know you work really hard. I could never be a brain surgeon without you. Anyway, the big one falls, the older one falls in love with Max Havoc, and she happens to get that dragon from the pawn shop, the Jade Dragon or Emerald Dragon, whatever it is. So all the ninjas are after them, and the little sister's like, come on, sis, you gotta do what's right. You gotta give back the dragon. And the big sister's like, no, I've been working hard for our whole lives. This is time for us to make some real money. And I know you work hard for me, brother, my sister, but you gotta do the right thing. And this guy is always telling him, yeah, you gotta give back the dragon. And he does a lot of cool martial arts in this guy, Mickey Hart. So it's pretty much just about the shenanigans in this little resort community in Guam where the ninjas are trying to kill these girls. He's trying to protect them. Finally, David Carradine comes in at the end. Really silly movie. The reason why I wanted to see this was, I forgot to mention at the beginning, it's co-directed by Albert Pyun and Isaac Florentine. Albert Pyun, you know, I'm a big fan of his. And Isaac Florentine did all kinds of cool martial art movies. Like, he's a martial arts guy. Like, he did Savat with Olivier Gruner, and he did Cold Harvest with Gary Daniels, and he's done the new Undisputed movies I gotta watch, and the new Ninja movies with Scott Adkins. Desert Kickboxer, he did a lot of movies I like. So that, like, I don't know how it ended up two directors, but I like Albert Pyun and Isaac Florentine, and both of them were credited as the director of this. Yeah, so this is a cool, kind of a silly, low-budget little thing, kind of tame, kind of PG. It says not rated, but there's not really any nudity or too much swearing. There's a lot of violence. Anyway, a really corny movie. Second one kind of takes a little serious turn. Max Havoc, Ring of Fire. This one's got Radon Chong and Mickey Hart again plays Max Havoc. The bad guy is Dean Cain. He plays a real scumbag in this. He kind of reminds me of Eric Bischoff from WCW. It's got this really attractive girl in it. Her name is Christina Cox. I've been seeing her in quite a few action movies. She was in Cold Vengeance, Joel Merhe's Cold Vengeance, and she was in Street Law with Jeff Wincott. But she's really, really attractive. She's a pretty good actress too in these movies. She plays it pretty straight. And Mickey Hart is back in this. He's like a I kind of like his style of fighting. He's a Muay Thai fighter. Like anyway, this one he's at this hotel doing photo shoots for old Christina Cox is a tennis player or something. He's doing a photo shoot with her. He gets his bag stolen by a little street kid, and there's a chase scene through the village right out of Shenmue 2. There's the little kid there, and he's an aspiring martial artist. He runs to the mission. The mission's run by Radon Chong. She's his poor sister, and all the street gangs harass her. And she's bringing in the kids off the street, and they're learning martial arts. Anyway, he tracks the kid down and gets his camera back, but he kind of befriends the kids and the sister at the church. And it's in the ghetto, and these gangs are terrorizing the place. It seems Dean Cain's the guy that runs the hotel that Max Havoc and the figure skate and the tennis player are staying at. He's like running the whole gang. He ends up being the bad guy. Anyway, there's a lot of cool fights. This movie takes itself a lot more serious than this one. So this one's a little bit more fun. This one's probably a little bit better of a movie, directed by Terry Ingram. Oh, and then Martin Kove is in here too. He's like a crooked cop. So these movies tend to get a lot of the 90s people I like in them. And then Max Havoc has a fight with Dean Cain at the end. It's pretty cool. Okay, well, speaking of Albert Pyun, I had to get this one. I couldn't find it to stream anywhere, and I'm a big fan of the original movie. It's called Abelar, Tales of an Ancient Empire. It's from 2010, more recent Albert Pyun movie. I think he's getting dementia. I don't know if it was, you might think he had dementia when he was making this movie, but I think it came after that. I'm not sure though. His wife was a co-writer, Cynthia Kernan, I think that's his wife. This is it's a sequel to one of my favorite fantasy movies, Sword and the Sorcerer, with Lee Horsley. And Lee Horsley kind of reprises his role, has a short cameo in this. This movie is, oh man. Okay, I enjoy it because I like to, Albert Pyun's very creative. Like, he has a very creative mind. Everything he puts on camera seems to like, he puts some effort and creativity into it. This one doesn't have the budget of his older movies. I don't know if he's not attached to any studios with money anymore, but this is mostly done with CGI work. And there are some real sets in this movie, but it's like this movie was not completed because it's pieced together with like narration, like certain scenes of the movie are cut out, and then it's done with narration, and all of a sudden it just skips from one part to another. It looks cool. Like every Albert Pyun movie has a nice look, but half of the movie is done on green screen. And Michael Pere, okay, it's got Kevin Sorbo's in it. Michael Pere is Michael Pere plays this warrior king or whatever, and his little soldiers. Olivier Gruner again, and Sasha Mitchell from Kickboxer 2. So a lot of Albert Pyun regulars are in this. Michael Pere too is this kind of like samurai looking guy, and he's like the king, and he's trying to take down this vampire king, and that's played by Norbert Weiser, another Albert Pyun regular. And it's all done with like green screen, so like, and it's done with narration. It's like kind of like a full motion video, video comic or something. The intro of this movie, it's really weird. It's just like Olivier Gruner and Michael Pere and Sasha Mitchell and Norbert Weiser and the daughter acting in front of a blue screen. It's a trip though. Like Michael Pere does not phone in his performance. He gives it everything in this. I knew what I was getting into after I watched the sequel to Streets of Fire with Michael Pere that Albert Pyun did. It's called Road to Hell. I knew what I was getting into when I watched this. He's all about green screen and stuff now, because that's like, with a low budget, you can pretty much put whatever you want on screen that you want the people that you want in your vision. Like, you don't have to go get sets and go find a location and all that. I get that. But man, so Michael Pere is like a vampire killing warrior king. He killed Norbert Weiser, puts on a hammy performance as like this vampire king. He kills him, and then his daughter is a vampire too, and she's like this sexy vampire with teeth. She's acting like a cat or whatever. And anyway, Michael Pre's gonna kill her, but then they fall in love and they mate and they have a baby. But then he regrets it, and he kills the mom vampire, but he doesn't want to kill the baby, so he leaves it with someone. I think the king and queen get a hold of it and raise it as a princess, and a little girl that she raises to be a princess. Well, one of her bodyguards is Ralph Moeller, another guy from Albert Pyun movies. He was in Cyborg, that big buff German guy. Pretty much everyone from an Albert Pyun movie is in here. I didn't see Tom Matthews or Tim Thomerson, but pretty much everyone else. Holy crap, this movie is weird. Oh, and then I forgot to mention Kevin Sorbo. All of his scenes, he's not on green screen, like he's actually on location on sets or whatever. So he's one of the daughters of the vampire. Oh my goodness. So the vampire princess has four other siblings, and they need to and the bad guys resurrect the queen for whatever reason, and she's out to rule the world or whatever. Vampire queen and all of her vampire minions. So this girl Melissa Orday, I think she's the princess, and then all these other hot women are the siblings, and they're trying to band together with all of their siblings. And Kevin Sorbo's the brother. They're trying to all band together to stop the resurrected vampire witch. You could tell that he put a lot of effort into this story. It was just hard for me to follow it. The best thing about this is the documentary at the end. It shows a lot of behind the scenes. A lot of the actors I like, and a lot of stuff from Albert Pyun. There's a cool little documentary on this. So if you're a fan of Albert Pyun, I don't know anyone who is besides me and maybe one or two other people. I know he has fans out there, but Albert Pyun movie, really a trip of a movie. I kind of want to get Road to Hell and talk about that one. But yeah, I'm glad I got this. I got it on eBay for a few bucks. So glad to have that in my Albert Pyun collection. Anyway, that's it for this week. I couldn't tell you what my favorite one is. I enjoyed all of these. I'll get back to you with some more. I recently watched my favorite 90s horror movies, and I'm going to do a podcast with Retro Chibarone on the Retrowave podcast. They probably won't be released until the 1st of October or November, but that'll be fun talking about. And for a change, I watched like good high budget movies, like straight to the theater movies. For a change, I'll be talking about that. I have a passion for these low budget straight to video movies, but it was cool to actually watch like good movies for a change. like movies with a budget of like 10 million or more. Anyway, well, I'll see you guys next time.